The lifting of the Earth's crust has created the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, with the fiercest movement resulting in mountain ranges. These have formed the roof of the world and a unique tiered terrain. Snow-covered mountains coexist with wastelands, forests, and valleys, contributing to various human activities. In people's eyes, mountains are not only immortals' dwellings, but also their own homes. Awang Sangji has lived alone in this monastery for more than 20 years. He is here guarding a sacred cave. Peacefully sitting down, he can feel the existence of the Buddhist masters. Legend has it that 5 immortal goddesses are living in the Himalayan mountains behind the monastery. The head of these mountains is called Qomolangma, meaning the third goddess in Tibetan. With an elevation of 8,844 meters, the peak is surrounded by over 40 mountains with altitudes of more than 7,000 meters. Here is the home of snow and ice, as well as the highest point on the earth. In 1852, Mount Qomolangma was confirmed as the highest mountain in the world. Since then, more than 4,000 people have reached the peak. For Sangjia, the peak is where gods live. Before he became a monk, Sangjia already had kids, with 3 of his sons in mountaineering teams. His second son has summited the Qomolangma peak 7 times. Jia Xi, his youngest son, is the chef of a mountaineering team, and he often visits his father, who is cultivating himself alone. Jia Xi has departed, leaving Sangjia alone at the temple. Here, he will pray for every brave climber conquering the peak.
야가비턴 지금용다거나 야가비 제지 이니 다 미코랑 다 제지에서 지나거나 응아 두고 하면 이제 다 같이 몇 바송다 삼인데 갖고 줍니다.
Lama Sangjia is the person closest to Mount Qomolangma. The Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon is the longest canyon in the world, as well as an important channel for water vapor. It is covered with thick vegetation, nourished by abundant rain. Deep in the canyon is Motuo County, the name of which means hidden lotus in Tibetan. Early in the morning, Dong Hong, a Monpa person, rushes to go down the mountain as it is fine outside. Recently, he has been taking his son Gu Chong with him. The canyon is in the world's largest zone of rainfall. When it doesn't rain, many people will come out to collect stones on the cliffs. Called soapstone, the stones here are very soft and used by Monpa people to make stone walks. Dong Hong has inherited his walk-making skills from his predecessors, and he hopes that his youngest son can take over the family business. To reduce their burden on the way home, they start the first part of the process right here. It is not difficult for Monpa people to walk on cliffs while carrying stones. Making stone walks requires excellent skills, especially enough strength when using knives. The walk's walls should be thin, even, and smooth, which requires dexterity and patience. Motuo is the last county in China to get roads. When the transportation problem was solved, almost all of the families in the village where Dong Hong lives began to make stone walks. One stone walk sells for 1,000 to 2,000 yuan. This is the best career for Dong Hong, which makes him more confident for convincing his son.
Mà không có bao giờ phụ câu đôi theo chứ này. Thôi chỉ là prang nó khờ. Mà không có bao giờ đâu chứ này. Không có bao giờ này.
Soft stone walks are said to harden once they leave Motuo. From the time they are born, Monpa people can't do without the stone walks. Soup stewed in such walks has rich flavors and is said to benefit the heart and bones. This stone walk of Donghong's was inherited from an older generation. His grandfather was one of the most famous craftsmen of stone walks in Motuo. His wife has made fresh Monpa wine. It is brewed with chicken feet, millet, and corn. The drink can not only cure rheumatism caused by the rainy weather, but also make people feel closer.
가가 눕부 줘봐 네 폭시오면 폭디니 셀부가 다르 그런 거 알죠?
세부가
네 그쪽은 셀부랑 다르거나 셀부가 다르 니로 거짓말 저 이유 다르 니 맞다 꾸고 뭐죠? 네 메미들 어디니 락시 릭부 네 메미들 루시안 산업네 군산주 가와 네 이들이 하는 거네.
Recently, restaurants from far and wide have come to buy his stone walks. These stone walks are first carried to the county capital by caravans, and then delivered out of Motuo by roads.
네 그놈의 나네 이리도 이거로라바 이제 독나이는 그러네.
After leaving the rainy area, Motuo stone walks enter another forest on the high mountains, Lulang. Conic gymnadenia tuber, a rare medical material found only on the highlands, is put into a stone walk, together with locally raised Tibetan chicken, as well as a dozen other plants. After being stewed for 3 hours, a dish called stone walk cooked chicken is ready. The gathering of forest delicacies and a Motuo stone walk allow people to enjoy a fresh flavor soaked in an ancient flavor. Centering on the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon, vast forests cover the east of the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau. Lhoba people live in a valley to the south of the Himalayas. As hunting wild animals is forbidden here, most hunters have selected other jobs. Nevertheless, their hearts are deeply rooted in the forests. At the foot of the mountain, every family has a government-subsidized house. But Lin Dong, an old hunter, prefers living here up in the mountains. He is in a good mood today, as his grandson, Ge will come to the mountain to spend his weekend. Lin Dong begins to make preparations to welcome his grandson. Moso bamboo is the primary material for making tools. The history of the Lhoba people is carried forward via epics and songs. And Lin Dong is one of the most important people carrying on the mission. When weaving bamboo baskets, he sings songs that were sung in the past during hunting. To keep his grandson from becoming too bored on the mountain, he has made some toys he played with in his childhood. Ge is 10 years old, and he hasn't seen his grandfather for a long time. The fish basket woven yesterday has been hidden in a river. On his arrival, everything was new to Ge. But recently, he's become a little absent-minded. It's time to take out something really interesting.
안 썼다. 다른 너 락. 너고. 왜인데? 와당인데. 얼른 넣어라. 악액이 또 벌어 붙였어. 아, 그거 좀 봐.
Guqing seems more and more immersed. His grandfather excitedly shows him his special skill.
너비 떨롱가. 아니, 죽을 뻔뻔 잘라 때 떨었다. 그거 이어머 죽기라 하 이게 없거래도 없당아. 닝고 리브닝가 뭐 저그 땅구 리브니 얼어 저ben미 민크모.
He seems extremely excited. Although his grandpa hasn't hunted for decades, he is still agile and strong. Guqing seems a little confused as to why his grandfather is so elated. It's almost dinner time. Old Lindong has come out to the forest to hunt real prey with his grandson.
우구하랑 이럽고가 그 순점과 이번에 달롱어 배도 오메암스나 어봉어 그림 같은 등점도 좀 좀 우구하랑 이점 저 아키롱고도 좀 이점 얼롱어 엄고라보삼고
They go to the riverside to check their catch from the fish basket. They've had quite a catch. They are going to have a hearty hunter's meal. This is the moment that grandfather has been waiting for, teaching his grandson how to survive in the forest, even though he doesn't really understand.
러범이 버닌가 시 어디 어느 곳가래 에나마 사크리 나온다 아니 어디가 나서왔더냐 어디 또 러범이 버냐 대인 파르가 그거문을 또 고라할래가 또 뽑게라 어디도 타파.
Every time they meet, old Lindong will review this topic. And he believes Guqing will get the hang of it one day. The short weekend is over, and Guqing has returned to the life he belongs to. But they have agreed to meet again next week. The expanding cities have provided more options for people living in the mountains. However, they always try to carry with them past memories through song dance, language, costumes, and small daily rituals. The culture and beliefs of the plateau are also passed on by another important medium. It's called Tangka, a kind of special scroll painting. In a valley amongst the Hengduan Mountains, there is an ancient school of painting, Gemangzi. It is here where 82-year-old Gema Dele, a painting master, lives and works. In his over 70 years of painting, he has drawn many smiling bodhisattvas. Like the earth, his paintings are full of gentleness and love. These days, the old man and his students have been working overtime to draw their best Tangkas, which will be exhibited in Lhasa, the holy city. His grandsons and granddaughters are already outstanding painters. The rarity of these paintings lies not only in their sophisticated lines, but also in their scarce pigments from nature. The colors that are derived from the earth give longer lives to their works. As they work against the clock, an injured cow wanders outside their door. They were told that the cow was attacked by wolves, and it seemed to be dying. The old man decided to save the animal. The students have no idea why their teacher would stop painting to save a cow. As highland barley is said to be able to sterilize wounds, the teacher asked students to reap his crops in advance.
They pageant Yamari la Mali re madeni, but the Yamari to see madeni. His color bus winner, Tash Humble and General Jim at the Hyongo Sanas on that end school, lay shot some drama.
It was depressing that the cow's wounds didn't get better. So, the old man decided to gather herbs himself. His medicine brought the cow back to life. All of their paintings were also finished on time. Ngari Prefecture is where the Himalayas, Kailas Range, and Karakoram Range meet. Surrounded by countless mountains, the region covers an area of more than 300,000 square kilometers, with over 100,000 residents. There is an average elevation of over 4,500 meters. The prefecture is dominated by wasteland. The most eye-catching mountain in Ngari is Kailash, the highest peak in the Kailas Range. In the Bon religion, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism religions, it is believed to be the center of the world and the king of holy mountains. Disciples believe that walking for more than 50 kilometers around Kailash can cleanse them of all their sins, and those who complete 100 laps can go up to heaven and become a Buddha. They also believe that in the year of the horse, 1 lap is equal to 12 in other years. And this year is the year of the horse. There are still other people who have chosen a more difficult route. This method of crawling is called long kowtow. Sawang, a Tibetan, and 2 fellow villagers have agreed to circle Kailash with a long kowtow. Most roads stand over 5,000 meters above sea level. They will crawl over the mountain pass with an elevation of 5,700 meters. Sawang's 2 children, who are still spending their summer holidays here, are helping out their father. He eats the simplest food, refusing to take a shortcut. Before sunset, he marks where he has left off before returning to the tent that has been put up. On the second day, he first carries the tent to a new campsite and then returns to where he stopped yesterday.
럼버체 시로모 다노모 다 다니는 신ngay 루버데
His physical power gradually becomes weaker, and he recovers more and more slowly. "20 days later, Tsuang returns to the city and resumes his business of delivering water. Anyone who hears about Tsuang's story will invite him into their home. They admire and respect Tsuang. There is a grove hidden in the wasteland of Ngari. A red fruit is grown here. An apple, the most common fruit, is like a miracle when growing here. People value this green area that is surrounded by endless wasteland. Fruit trees that are integrated into the houses are part of the family and enjoy considerate care. Because of the large area and high elevation of Qingzong's orchard, her apples are the last ripe ones in the village. Transportation is a bigger problem. Even though roads have been paved to the entrance of the village, the zigzag paths here have scared off many buyers. Most apples are sold with the help of friends and relatives in cities. This year, the orchard has had a bigger yield than previous years. If these apples can't be sold, they will be fed to the cows. The bright red on the tips of the trees is the color of Ngari, as well as that of Ngari women. Finally, they have buyers. With the sun and soil of the highlands, as well as the women's care, apples grown here are very tasty, with a rich flavor mixing sweet and sour. It is a long journey to ship out these apples. The fruit will travel across a unique geological feature called Tulin, or earth forest. 1 million years ago, there was a wide lake here. Then, the lake basin rose with mountains, with wind and water reshaping this area. In the era of the Guge Kingdom, around 100,000 people lived in Tulin and even established horse ranches on the top. The Guge Kingdom mysteriously disappeared. But these bright murals record the life of Ngari in the past. The dances depicted in the murals 1,000 years ago are the origin of the land of apples. The roof of the world is the peak of mountains, source of waters, and a harmonious home for living things.